They'll be calling you a radical. We have a lot to talk about. Yellow on Black Friday, San Onofre, Barbara Boxer going off on Allison McFarland, Fukushima, of course. First off, I want to go back to Fukushima, Yellow on Black Friday. I'll give some details on our sign making. I'll talk about the sign, my favorite sign. I'll show you my homemade one. I've made it online. Everybody knows it. I use it out in the Nevada test site. It's on the back of the map. But Fukushima, San Onofre, the whole nuclear fight, all over the world, it's the same fight. It's the same nightmare because nuclear fallout doesn't know borders, it doesn't know lines, it doesn't know racism, it doesn't know anti-Semitic bullshit, it doesn't know any of these man-made bullshit things. It doesn't know any of this dogmatism. The gesture moves left to right. First off, I cannot overemphasize this, and I've said this more to people think I'm off the hook. Caroline Kennedy, who's the new ambassador to Japan, a very big deal. I'll explain that too. It's safer to live in Tokyo right now than it is San Francisco, Salt Lake, Boise, Idaho, Montana, Manhattan, Michigan, Texas, Florida. For real. I mean, it's amazing to me how people cannot grab logic. When this blast happened, these things exploded in Gundershill. Oh, it's a hydrogen blast. I don't know, out in Gundershill. The wind was blowing out directly over the Pacific. Blew out for a week. That plume, for the first several days, hammered North America big time. So they crashed. And I want to make this known too. When I say they hammered RadNet, yeah, RadNet's got some bullshit that's still up, but their interactive map that shows the radiation in the environment, oh no, it's not there. Boy, it was there before. They're liars. I've been to 2 RadNet facilities and talked to people, and they both work 100% fine. Always did. They're liars. The wind blew out. They knocked water down onto the whole thing, and just pushed into the Pacific Ocean. The ocean currents moved left to right. It's us who consume the fish. Remember this, it was the Japanese Fishing Coalition who blocked the northern cod coming into Manhattan, a year and a half ago. And they said it, because America refuses to save themselves. America is a third world country, period. You can argue with me all you want. It had a military coup in 2000, which the Department of Energy, it's run by a corrupt mob. The Department of Energy, they're a mob. I mean, and you think it's ironic that TEPCO in Japan, which is Westinghouse, are using, the mob's running the show over there. For real, it's been widely reported. They're forcing homeless people to work in there. And which I know for a fact, hundreds of them are already dead from leukemia. One person died. The guy that was head of the so-called Fukushima 50 died. I knew he was going to die before any of you guys, as you guys know that have watched these videos. Caroline Kennedy going over there is a big deal. Bobby Kennedy's, I had a fight with a junior, which I loved his father. I love Bobby Kennedy Jr. now. He's a champion of us. I mean, he took on that Pandora's Promise punk right in his face a long time ago. Boy, let him have it. John Kennedy was anti-nuclear as it gets. He took on the establishment hardcore. I mean, you watch that speech he gave in 1963 in front of the nation in July 20. Oh my God! At the end, he talks about leukemia. I mean, he was so anti-nuclear, and his beautiful wife was anti-nuclear. That's why he was. She was a fan of Rachel Carson's. I mean, she was a fan of good, solid work and great literature. So was John. Caroline Kennedy going over there is a big deal. I think it's going to help the people of Japan and the cause. And to all you people say, there's that punk over there in Japan talking shit about me. Remember this in the early days. In the very early days, and this will help me lead into the San Onofre. In the very early days, I was the only one giving reports. Kathy Iwan, who's married to a Japanese man, was living in Japan. A lot of Americans were living in Japan at the time. They were trapped in there. The only information they were getting solid was from me. I mean, they came home, came home back to San Diego, but the protests that happened in Japan, and this just shows you the mainstream media, the nuclear cartel, the mob that runs this country. Some of the greatest, biggest protests in the history of mankind happened over there. Still happening. Kathy Allen sent a picture out, and everybody's got a hold of it this week. 10,000 people protesting. But, I mean, millions of people. Did you see any of it on the mainstream media? No, they're showing the uprising in Syria and Egypt, but you didn't see it in Japan, did you? No, because the nuclearism runs this country. Period. Period. We have to break their back. Now, I want to talk about Barbara Boxer. Remember, as so many of you guys know that watching these, I've been fighting San Onofre for decades. When I'm in the bone marrow transplant center, almost dead, I'm doing San Onofre videos. I mean, I'm hammering. Joni and Ray and I shot that historic video down there. I was at the hearings, but even long before the hearings, as you guys know, a lot of people, I mean, I've probably got more videos on San Onofre than anything, and, you know, I've been fighting it for years and years. My dad on Pendleton, you know, the nuclear death Marine, it all folds together. Barbara Boxer let them have it yesterday, or Thursday. I mean, went off. Now, Elsa McFarland, which I know from the old days, and a lot of people know her from her writing. She was on our side too, we thought, but she's been put in such a horrible position. I bet she's thinking, oh my God, just like Gregory Jackoway, come up, whoa. I don't think she had any idea how evil this mob is, the nuclear cartel. They're evil. They're evil. They're stupid. They are stupid, but they have all the money. She went off on them. Let them have it. Now think, oh God, so what, blah, blah. No, so what? There's 100 senators. Do you see any of them standing up against nuclear? 1 out of 100. Okay, how many videos have I done? And you know, I call her office over and over and over, have for years. I gave out her phone number in our little small group, as I call us, our post-ignorant 300. We've called, we've educated, her staffers have called, we've went back and forth, you know, and so many of those great activists in Southern California, and the grassrooters, Kathy Iwan, you know, Gene Stone, so many of those, the hard work. We educated Barbara Boxer and her staff. These are still people. Now, Wyden, you know, up in Oregon, he went to Fukushima in the early days. Boy, is he turned into a mouse. And then you know Mike Lee, my conversation with Mike Lee, which I had to prep him. Did you know he didn't even know what Fukushima was? I prepped his aide in the morning because I didn't want to play I got you, because I know he's a fraud. I mean, I know this house is in foreclosure, and J.P. Morgan Shore sold this house while he claims he's fiscally responsible. He's as crooked as it gets, just like here in Utah, our Attorney General, you know. Anyway, I'd go on for hours about Utah politics. They're crooks, big time crooks. The Mormon Church is so corrupt. The culture is so grotesquely corrupt. But she is trying to, these liars, these thieves at Cal Edison, the nuclear industry, they violated all kinds of laws. They did everything they could, illegally. We want them in jail. And that's what we've been going to Barbara's office. We want prosecution. It's not good enough to shut San Onofre down. I mean, that's a giant, I mean, you think about it. How many videos did I do? We're going to hit the beach. We're going to hit the beach on June 6th. We're going to hit the beach on June 6th, D-Day. That is, by the way, the day that Bobby was killed. We're going to hit the beach. We're going to hit the beach. That morning, 7 o'clock. I'm the first one to report it. I had it from, I have whistleblowers inside the NRC. I have whistleblowers all over. Why? Because I was the only one reporting this in a very accurate way in the first days. The only one. I mean, you watch those videos. The people that were in the inside and know the nuclear thesis knew I was all over it. So I mean, what I get and what I have connections everywhere. Amazing connections. We want those fuckers in jail. It's historic that they shut down San Onofre. It's some guy emailed me the other day, oh, you crazy anti-nukers ain't the reason they shut down Yankee. It's all about economics. If it was about economics, fuckhead, there would never be one. I mean, that's how ignorant people are. It's about the, if it was about economics, there would never be one single nuclear plant on Earth. They're not economically sound. They're not clean. They're filthy. They're dirty. They're the highest priced energy in the history of mankind. It all has to do with fucking weapons. Don't you think it's funny? This is so the Cold War 2.0, as they're fighting each other, Russia and United States supposedly still. Yet the Russia waste is still going in to Kentucky. When it gets hit by the tornado, it's exposed that it's Russian waste that was in there that got spilled all over the Queen. And you people in the UK and, you know, Europe, I mean, talk about getting it from both sides now. Wow. I mean, Chernobyl from the east, Fukushima from the west. What's a man to do? Wow. It's outrageous. It is cancer. We need to stay on Barbara Boxer's office. All you guys people that have been calling for the last year, 2 years, my last time I've been talking to her. Now, it's important, and you know I say this all the time, when you call her office, these are people, her staffers are great. They are great. You have cordial, intelligent conversations with these people. You know, you don't go off in lunatic la-la-ville. Remember, there's 100 senators. There's only one that's doing anything in the nuclear thesis, period. 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 And fuck Congress. Oh, those fucking losers. Wow. Talk about representative government. America, the fucking sheeple, the third world country. What happens in a third world country? You have a military coup, 2000. Illegitimate president, which, yeah, okay, he's not president anymore, but two of the people that put onto the Supreme Court are illegitimate because he placed them there because he didn't win. He placed Alito Roberts, which makes the court 5-4, which it should be 6-3. Well, and the court shouldn't even be a political apparatus, but we all know that it is. And so every decision they make, so that's the thumbprint of the third world. People working 65, 70 hours a week. It's a fact. I proved it in my PhD. To be homeless in America right now, you are much better off than working class. Working class, the average working class balance sheet in America is like $100,000, more than that, $150,000 to the bad. And that's with their false bravado, fake equity in their house, which it really isn't there. They're molded up styrofoam pieces of shit. It's a nightmare. Fukushima. Christina Bradchick said, I don't know if it's her line, I think it is her line. She said it, I love it. She says the only thing being controlled out of Fukushima is us. But the sheep can be controlled. We don't want sheep. When you set up shop, this is my favorite one. As you guys know, I've made lots and lots of them over the years. It's the back of an old Chevron state of Nevada map. That's where I met Megan Rice, by the way, in the Nevada test site, protesting with her. And I painted it with tomato soup. But, you know, hold them up. I love this sign. I saved this sign for a long time, this old map. Then I have the Utah one, you know, which I've painted. I went to the Utah Energy Conference. I got kicked out of there too, as you guys know. That one. Utah Economics 101. Cancer, cancer, cancer. And factual. This is a fact. Why did you hear that Utah is the cancer capital of the world? The two industries, number one and number two, who knows, and they completely control, besides corruption. I mean, white-collar crime is the industry here. These hairspray masquerade parties, I mean, that's what they do, steal from little old ladies. That's what Mormon bishops do, they rob little old ladies. So, factually, the two number one industries, tourism and cancer treatment. Now, you think the Huntsman Center. Our hospital says, you want to stay in the hotel? Go to the Huntsman Center. You want to live? Come to ours. You think about that. Huntsman Chemical. 357 plants around the world. Styrofoam. They let more toxics into the freaking... They're probably only second to the nuclear cartel. So now what's their industry? Treating cancer. Give you cancer, then rob every penny out of you got treating you cancer. That's Utah. That's what they... for real. For real. Cancer treatment is gigantic here. The cancer treatment industry is giant here. Tourism. If people knew, then you know, outside the lines, Christina sent me that about so many of the marquee triathletes dying. Remember this, the guy who won Ironman died in our bone marrow transplant. The number one triathlete in the world's been in there with me. She's in trouble. And is it swimming in them waters? I don't know. But a lot of them train in Moab too, you know. The half-life plutonium and the open air tests and uranium mines down there, tailings, are all over in that red rocks. Half-life plutonium's, you know, at least 24,500 years. You know, downwinder thesis, there's two professors at our university teach it in the past tense. I'm like, how can you possibly teach it in the fucking past tense? It's not past tense. It's in the present and the future for at least 24,500 years. It's like everybody forgot here. Well, plutonium didn't forget. Cancer's off the hook. And you want people want to accept cancer? Not me. We don't want the fucking sheep. We have, Diane's going to go up into New Mexico, into Minnesota, into that plant. We have people going all over. We got people going to the plant in Tennessee. We've got people headed to the one at Homestead in Florida, you know. And this is the thing you can do individually on your own. You can make your sign, go out there, you know, who shows, who shows. You know, it's that simple. I mean, we surely don't want the masses. This is quantity, not quality, and that's the way it has to be. The Occupy it was what it was, and I think it did a lot of good things. But a big mass of mad people, a big mass of mad, ignorant AstroTurf people, the Teabagger revolt, they're not worthless. I mean, Occupy did a lot of good work. You go to New York City, you can see the change in New York City. But to really change things in details takes actions like this. It's like somebody says, Kevin, you know, you got your book done, you know, and they make fun of me at the library. They're like, you know, you're going to break Edward Abbey's. He worked on that book of his and that dissertation for like 20-something years. You're going to break his record. And I'm like, for me to stop right now and write a book would be like, you know, Patton stopping on the Rhine River and for a few weeks and writing a book. Oh no. We're in the middle of this fucking war. Full fucking steam ahead. Fucking take no prisoners. Fuck this fucking mob fucking cartel all over the fucking world. And if nuclear's so great, answer me one thing, all you pro-nuclear fuckers. If it's so fucking great, then why is the entire industry shrouded in nothing but lies and deceits? All of it. Every bit of it is nothing but lies and fucking deceit. If it's so great, why don't you fucking be honest, guys? You're nothing but a fucking bunch of fucking liars. And as for everybody that participates, supports these fucking lying whores, that fucking works in the industry, like Gunderson, he worked for him, he says he worked for him for years, he still works for him. Every one of you can rot in the lowest form of fucking hell, because I'm telling you, you altered the fucking ways of the universe. Your soul's got no fucking chance. No fucking chance. None. They really don't. I mean, is that mean to say? No, that's just the fucking way it is. Stand tuned. Boise, Idaho, Montana, Manhattan, Michigan, Texas, Florida. For real. I mean, it's amazing to me how people cannot grab logic. When this blast happened, these things exploded. Gunderson told, oh, it's a hydrogen blast, I don't know, Gundershield. The wind was blowing out directly over the Pacific. Blew out for a week. They'll be calling you a radical. We have a lot to talk about. Yellow on Black Friday, San Onofre, Barbara Boxer going off on Allison McFarland, Fukushima, of course. First off, I want to go back to Fukushima, Yellow on Black Friday. I'll give some details on our sign making. I'll talk about the sign, my favorite sign. I'll show you my homemade one. That plume, you know, for the first several days, hammered North America big time. So they cracked. And I want to make this known too. When I say they hammered RadNet, yeah, RadNet's got some bullshit that's still up, but their interactive map that shows the radiation in the environment, oh no, it's not there. Boy, it was there before. They're liars. I've been to 2 RadNet facilities and talked to people, and they both work 100% fine. I've made it online. Everybody knows it. I use it out in the Nevada test site. It's on the back of the map. But Fukushima, San Onofre, the whole nuclear fight, all over the world, it's the same fight. It's the same nightmare, because nuclear fallout doesn't know borders, it doesn't know lines, it doesn't know racism, it doesn't know anti-Semitic bullshit, it doesn't know any of these man-made bullshit things. It doesn't know any of this dogmatism. The gesturing moves left to right. First off, I cannot overemphasize this, and I've said this more to people think I'm off the hook. Caroline Kennedy, who's the new ambassador to Japan, a very big deal. I'll explain that too. It's safer to live in Tokyo right now than it is San Francisco, Salt Lake.